This is 2OF Entertainment.
Good day to you.
Good day to you, Paul.
Afternoon for you. Good morning for me.
It's whatever time it is anywhere else on the planet. We never know.
That's the magic of this. We're kind of it's kind of a world site, and we're kind of all around the world, and it's an amazing process that we're able to share Canadian artists and with the rest of the world. And you being in Netherlands, and from the UK, that's great. I mean, we have this diversity. Stephen being away for a while, and we'll catch maybe up with him.
I spoke to him today. He told me he was still on his boat in Monaco. But
life's tough, isn't it?
It is tough, yeah. Well, he was on a couch somewhere, and he told me it was Monaco, so I had to believe him.
With a scotch and cigars. There you go. You can do that.
Oh, definitely.
With the life you can lead, right? And it's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're talking about world artists, and Canada has been graced by having so many diverse artists coming to our country in the last 20-25 years. We have a diverse are we becoming not so much homogenized, but we have a good mix of people and artists and culture, and it's very rich. And today we have a Persian Canadian artist who's been in Canada for 10 years now, and I think I'm going to try and pronounce her name properly. It's Shahrzad Shagapi, and we're going to talk with her. She's a professional. She's from trained at the university in Tehran, and her work is prolific. You see this influences of Middle Eastern works and things, and how is that going to play out in the Canadian market, and how do people receive those things and appreciate those kinds of visions? And I mean, it's a cultural thing, a lot of it, and we can see where the ideas come from and how she works, and talk about her work and show some great stuff. And she's a member of Artists in Canada, and I have to proudly say we now have our new little shirt out, and we're
I'll shamelessly promote it, Paul. Come on.
There we go. Yeah, we're a product of Canada. We've always been that.
Yeah. Let's bring. Oh, you're not the 51st day. Oh, was it?
We don't want to even go there. No, it's not. It's not a.
Rumors have reached me that Canadians want to join America, but there you go.
Yeah, well, it's sort of it's bad colonialism in the worst way.
Let's just get back to the art. I think let's just get back to the art.
Let's do that. Let's bring Shahrzad in.
Sure, we'll bring her on. Here we go.
Yeah. Hello.
Oh, hello to you.
Good morning.
Good morning, and good evening to you, David.
Yeah. Well, late afternoon. It's just turned 5 o'clock here. So.
Okay. Thank you for having me today. I'm very glad to be here. It's my honor.
We are looking forward to a conversation with you about your work and your art.
And you did a great job with pronouncing my name. It's not easy, I know.
Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate you being able to be with us here and talk about what you do with your art form. Anyway, we'll start shortly when David's ready. You can hang in if you like, David, or you can.
Yeah, no, I'm going to give you the opportunity to have a look at this, and I will just jump off and see you all a bit later. Have a great show, guys.
Thank you. See you later.
Well, we're here. I think. Well, I've talked with a lot of artists over the last. This is our third season, and it's really a pleasure to be able to talk to you about your work. I think it's different. I think culturally, but also visually, it's just trying to understand, your little bit of your journey, because is your journey different than anybody else's journey? We don't know, but I think coming from a university background, and I think you studied in Tehran. Is that where you studied?
Yeah, it wasn't like a university. It was like art school.
Oh, an art school. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about your background, about how you like? Did mom influence you with paints and art, and is that where it started?
I guess I was born, as an artist because since I remember myself, I was like painting and drawing. So I wasn't influenced by anyone as much as I remember. But I have been painting all my life, and I remember because my mother was a teacher, and she used to take me sometimes, some days, with herself to school. And when I was painting, nobody could even recognize that there is a child, in the classroom. So I was mesmerized. Painting, yeah, and I was lost myself in colors, and I remember those feelings. And then but I wasn't want to be an artist. I had no clue or idea about being an artist. I was just doing the thing that I was liking. And then I won a few prizes in a few painting competitions. And it wasn't, I didn't, participate voluntarily. I was just forced by my mom because I didn't think that I had something, to offer, or I'm like better than the other ones. But yeah, I I won a few prizes, surprisingly, and then I realized that maybe I had something to offer, and then continued. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go through, like, did you just do like classical kind of like from studies of plaster casts, and like we'll get into the actual types of work you did here shortly, but I guess it's just the training, like the understanding of how was instruction there, and did they, I guess in our colleges and universities here, we have our kind of structured system of, you start here and you go through year one, year two, through year three, through four. And do they have a BFA program? Do they have like your master's programs and things in the
No,
arts?
as I told you, I didn't, study at university. So I had like some private tutor to learn more about, painting and drawing. And then I entered in art school named Kamalolmolk in Iran, which is a name of a famous painter in Iran.
Okay.
And after that, something happened because before that I was trying to just I was very dedicated to follow the instructions and the frameworks, and it was useful. I have like that foundations of drawing and painting, in my opinion, at least. And then when I studied visual art and art history, and a lot about Persian paintings and art in general, it was so transformative for me. So
I guess that would be cultural. I guess we'd call that you finding yourself within your culture a little bit through your art. Is that kind of finding your voice that way? Is that what that was?
both I was exposed to the modern arts, which was so incredibly impactful for me. And then, and at the same time, knowing the culture, my culture more, the symbols and motifs and the colors, and the combination. But I didn't have any idea how I'm going to express myself through those knowledge, because it was just the knowledge and information. But I understood that I should trust myself and I can express myself in my way to, by finding my unique way of expressing my emotions, my feelings, or
Right. So
yeah.
did you study from some of the, I guess, the classic, the masters of the Degas and the Monets and the you
Yeah.
went and did American artists as well, that you're aware of Pollock and some of the other ones and
Yeah, most Europeans, yeah, and most Europeans, and a few about the other the South Americans, and all of the world. But I was more captivated with the Europeans and Persian,
right. Well, we
yeah.
can see the proximity is a lot closer that way, to see that, and I can see like access to it, I guess. Well, we'll just let's get David. We'll start up our first image here in a little bit, and we'll
Sure.
converse a little bit here, and then we can go through it. I don't know whether I can. I can't do it. I think David's going to have to start our video. Or there we go. So there's the spelling of your name, and I practiced this a little bit, so I just trying to get just trying
Great.
to get my tongue around it, and I think you're not Bev Smith. I think it's just kind of we're sort of used to shorter names and different things, and we get used to things that way. Anyway, this visual, long vertical vision. How large is this piece of work right here? About
Um, it's a good question. I cannot tell you because I'm very awful in numbers, and it's more than it's almost 2 meters, I can say.
about 3 feet tall. Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay. So 1 foot by 3 foot. That's about the proportions. So
less. Yeah.
12. Yeah, somewhere in there. Beautiful piece. So is this typical of your color palette that you like? You like the combination of these three types of colors in your work? Do you like that, or is that
Yes, actually, I can say I intuitively, choose the colors at the moment,
okay?
and I, then think that maybe they are, blending very good together or not. But I guess some of my works go through these palettes colors and hues that I cannot say that these are my favorite colors, but that the different kind of blues are my favorites, so I can combine them with many
Yeah.
other colors.
So it feels very poetic to me, this piece of work. And I don't know whether it's, I guess, the inclusion of some of your writing. There's some writing words that are involved in incorporated into now these are on canvas, correctly?
Yes, all of them. Yeah.
Are they in oil on canvas or acrylic?
Yeah, my recent pieces all are on
Are
canvas.
they're all oil? They're all oil paintings.
Yeah, oil and some acrylic.
Okay.
You can say.
So are you influenced by, like, this one has I guess it's abstract in a way, but it's kind of collage, like you're incorporating some florals and some flowers and there's this lovely sweeping motion that's of movement in the piece of work, yet it's still a flat surface, right? It has this so are you influenced by music and dance and that as well?
Yes, sure. And it's very interesting that you mentioned poetic because my husband plays an instrument called setar in
Okay.
Persian. Yeah, and it's exactly the same, like this one. It's like guitar,
Yeah.
in Western, and even the sound is very similar. And he also says poems. So these are, his poems and his handwriting. So
No.
yeah, and you can find, because it's just in Persian, you can find his name on the canvas. And yes, it's very poetic, and it has that rhythm in itself, because it's the combination of poems and that instrument and the nature. And you can feel the gloomy sky at the same time, because sometimes when you feel, and nostalgia, you know
Yeah.
all of them together.
So do these things evoke memory from you? Like, is this part from your memory of how you see things, or is it a fantasial thing, or is it a where these ideas they don't typically they're not in front of you to reproduce, so they come from somewhere. So do you just incorporate the things that tell the story? Is that you bring things from memory or from different things to produce these pieces of work? Is that where it starts?
It's not an easy thing, to say, because it just comes. And I can sometimes, for example, sometimes I feel like I'm not very happy and something is inside me that I cannot tell anyone, or I cannot express, or I cannot even understand what is going on.
Yeah.
And then I can just find a way through the art to express them. The poems, I don't remember the poems right now, but it should be like very nostalgic. And even the sitar, because I'm coming from a country which is very old and ancient, so many memories, even when I don't, I'm not aware of them. Is there when you're coming from an old country, you have a lot of baggage.
Well, there's history. Yeah, there's history. Yeah. Well, I think that's now. This is probably one of your more like minimalist pieces in a way, right? Other than the symbolism is really quite strong on this piece. And just can you talk to this piece a little bit about?
Yeah, I think this is the one. I put it because it's very meaningful to me, because I started to express my way, my unique way, without considering the frameworks and whatever that I learned. So I enjoyed combination the colors, but I also add something. And this is also, to me, it's like very lonely lonely artwork, I can say. And it doesn't include very confidence. It's just starting something that I gradually could trust, to
Yeah.
express. Yeah, but it's very meaningful, and it's a turning point.
Okay. Yeah. It's nice to be able to find work that you can say, this is where I made a change in my life or change in my art, a starting point for it. Because if you can find those catalysts to further your work, right, to get on to the next level, you need to set bars that are certain heights, and you get over that bar to the next one, to the next one, the next one. And, it's nice to have these that kind of encapsulate that this is where I started, this is where I'm going. So here's a lovely piece. When I looked at this one initially, it was quite large on the screen until I got it down here, and all I saw was this really beautiful abstraction. Basically, the bottom part from under her elbows is the dancer, and I just saw this explosion of color and vibrance, and I thought, wow. And then I reduced it down. Oh, there's a dancer in there. And it's just like, so is this more like a flamenco type of dancing?
Yes, that type of
Yeah.
dance. Yeah. And I remember, sometimes I have like something, I create something, and then I put it somewhere else, and then I come back to that piece. This is one of that, and it was like a very gloomy thing. I don't remember the color, but I remember it was after I moved to Canada, and it happened in, I can say, all the painting took about 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And you can't even imagine that. It was just sparking something, I don't know.
Yeah.
And you can feel the dance and the motion, and the confidence of expressing my voice,
Yeah.
I could
So
say.
do you have music in the background when you paint? Yeah.
Yeah, my husband always, and I also, sing. He sings and he, plays,
Oh, nice.
instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's more about how I was feeling inside, because I could feel that
Yeah.
freedom, yeah, and it was so inspiring to me, and love at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's got I like it because it's got an energy in there. It's just, it is nice to hear an artist talk about their work a little bit. Not so much to explain everything and all the details, leaving things for people to see. But I guess part of it is just saying, how does somebody from another country see things? Do we, as Canadians or Americans or whatever, see things in a similar way? And I think sometimes we do. I think some artists are really about their feelings when they do a piece of work. It's emotional, it's internal. Some just paint from what they see in front of them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you paint outside at all, like a plein air type of painting at all with other people or by yourself, or do you just paint in the studio?
I usually paint when I'm alone.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
kind of a lonely profession, isn't it? It's kind of a, but
exactly.
yeah. So
At
if
the
you
same time, you are sharing your emotions someday with other people, but when you are creating that, you need that space. At least for me, this is how it is.
so do you have an art group that you are part of in where you are in Toronto? No.
No, here, no. I have just a small studio, and sometimes I paint here. It's a very, beautiful place, but because of the light, I couldn't, show you.
That's
Yeah, this
beautiful.
kind of place, yeah, it's it has an impact because of the light and shadow playing and everything, and I'm very inspired by nature. And you were talking about some artists are just influenced by their emotions. To me, it's like the combination of them, at the end of the day, I'm not sure which one is, more strong, more. Yeah, when you show some of my work, my mind just goes blank because something else, comes to
Yeah.
my.
Well, we'll move along a little bit. I mean, I think it's excuse me. I guess it's interesting to see. Um, I guess you're like, Rana, we're going to go through a bit of figurative work here and some of your dancing and some of the things that. Do you dance as well yourself? Do you like dancing?
Yes,
Yeah, I can sense that. So
yes, I like dancing.
yeah, so there's a beautiful. When you look at this one quickly, it's just a nice abstraction. You just, and then all of a sudden you look again and you say, oh, there's a dancer in there. It's just, um, it's got an energy and a different beautiful piece, and it's some movement in the piece as well. So do you show? Is there some shows that you have in uh, in Toronto at all? Do you have you had show?
Yes, just once before you, because I'm also very occupied with my other, career, which is
Yeah.
very, yeah, very busy, and I cannot, manage. But to me, I was wishing if I can, have more space to create more art, because when I'm so busy, and I'm in a phase, and you can see, because I have like different collections, and I cannot come back to, for example, that phase to continue. If the time passes, I cannot go back and um, continue that collection. If it stops.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that. It's sometimes some artists can pick things up and continue on. Other ones, once you finish that painting, you can't go back to that series. It's just you haven't got the same rhythm or the feeling for it. It changes. So it's nice just to finish them off as best you can, and move on to the next one. Well, otherwise, a lot of them feel unfinished. Uh, in the pieces, if you've got thing, I want to go back and just touch this up. That's usually when you mess up things, is when you go back in and start redrawing a line that you should have just left alone?
I can just to finish my word. I can go back to the painting, but if I mean the time that I'm unique, working on collection, on a special collection, I cannot, when time passes, I cannot go back and create another piece.
Right.
So yeah.
So initially um, you were doing a lot of portraits. You're practicing and doing. So this is a study from another photo or another
Yeah.
painting. Was this part of your training? And
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see, very detailed, and I was just trying to. I think every artist should do that first. Uh, but some of the artists, can stay there, which is not very good, for an artist.
Yeah. No, I think it's good to have the discipline and to learn how to use pigments and design. And a lot of times, I guess I'll say the word copying or reproducing a piece of work to understand how those pieces were made, like the layering of the colors and understanding glazing and understanding, the technical drawing, of a figure. And this one's complicated. It's not just only hands and material, and we're talking about a facial portrait, eyes and nose proportions. So it's nice that there is something existing to practice with, and then you move on to actually doing life drawing. Do you do any of that models that you might hire that you work from for doing your work later on? But this is just to show that you where you were and now where you're going as far as your journey goes, because like you can see that. So you jump from that to this, and it's just like
I didn't jump. It
Yeah.
seems so, but I didn't jump.
It's a big jump. It's a big jump. But sometimes they're needed. I think just that to refresh you sometimes, because if all you're known for is the portrait artist in a certain style, you can be stigmatized to say, well, that's fine if you like that, and if that's what you like to do, that's fine. Some artists need different types of stimulants. They need to try different energy, maybe just do something about your feeling and energies rather than, if you don't understand how to do that, it's hard to inject that into a good portrait as well, because you're having to draw the energy out of the sitter into that piece of work. So if you don't know how to find the energy to put to your brush, to put onto the canvas, that's why they look like that artist or that the sitter, because you've captured the feeling. And I think these kind of work hand in hand. I think it's and you look and say, what is it? I said, well, can you explain a little bit about this piece? Because this one's very collage feeling to me. It just has this layers of pieces of not only just pigment. Are there three-dimensional things glued on there, or is that one surface?
Excuse me, what was
Is
the last?
is it just one surface, like just the painting, or is it
Yeah, it's
collage?
just one surface, and there is no collage thing, but it may seem like collage, and it changes, over the time, because it was like something else, and then something else added, and something else, and then at the end of the day, this is the thing that you can see, and you can see the motifs and symbols, Persian, I mean, in the middle, because it was something else, and I didn't, remove those items. Although it's very like, the trees, a forest. To
Yeah.
me, it's like a forest in the middle of night, and but I kept that those motives, and this is how I don't want to, for example, my father asked, what is it, you can make a window in the middle, and I don't care more about how other people think that my art piece should look, and I'm just trusting myself to keep something or removing something or, combine something together, just it brings joy out of me when I create something that I didn't expect it.
So would this be influences from Canada a little bit? This piece, like the Canadian forest, is that type of a thing?
I can say that I had like some, I don't remember anyone, but I have like those, those paintings in my background when I was, but I'm living in Toronto, and you can say that you are living in a forest, because in your neighbor there is like a trail and an
There's lots of
lake, and you're captured with nature and everywhere. And I like trees, so yeah, all of them has an impact on me.
there's lots of parks and walkways and things throughout the city, and just even outside the city, there's lots to see and experience. But
Yes.
what is it like? Okay, so what is it like in Tehran for landscape environment? Like,
you know Iran in general is a very beautiful country, and it varies, that the nature varies, from the hot weather to the coldest weather you can't even imagine, and from the forest to the deserts, and all those combinations, you can have all of them together. But when you live in a city, it's like you live, for example, in Rome. I mean, not in artistic way. I mean, it's a city, but you have access to the mountain if you um, drive for half an hour at least. So the nature is not very accessible like here in Toronto. That's
okay, yeah,
every neighborhood has its own nature.
there we go. Very colorful piece. I mean, I can see you're influenced by florals and flowers and things are a strong, I guess, an element. Yet this square, the is that like supposed to be like a window? Or is that because a square item is usually it's a man-made object. Square is man-made,
Yeah.
where round is nature, right? It's just and you've got. Can you explain a little bit about
Yeah.
this one about? Talk to it.
Yes, sure. Yeah, it's like a window. The nature, the nature has its own story, but something inside me still is, boiling. That I need a window to just, how can I put it, just embrace,
Okay.
yeah. And yeah, it's there is, like this square in many of my art piece, because I need that window.
Okay.
It's a very good name. I didn't think about that.
Well, it becomes a very tangible piece, and it's understandable. People know what score items are and edges, and I guess part of it you're trying to communicate to an audience. Um, I don't know what it's like for you to communicate um, to a Canadian or an English audience, or even a multicultural audience that we have, with in the understanding of conveying your thoughts to them. So it's a communication device, a painting. And how important is that to you to communicate your thoughts to other people?
Hmm.
Are they done just for yourself initially and you don't worry about it? Or do you want people to understand what you're talking about?
I want to spark, something in people. I don't want, just do something just for myself.
Hmm.
Um, but I guess everybody has its own reflection and, and description. And I cannot. This is the art of the art, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's important to leave room for people to find themselves in your work, or if they can, or if they can't. It's hard for the artist to just lead everything by with a carrot. You can't just say, here, follow this little trail and understand what I'm talking about. But so much our life right now is scroll, scroll, scroll with our thumbs. Nobody stops for any length of time in front of a piece of work. Even if it's a major, major piece of work, they'll
yeah,
only stand in front of the Mona Lisa just so long, or a Monet, and they'll just move on to the next one, the
yeah.
next one, and the next one. And then on a phone or on a device, it's worse. They just scroll. And when they do stop, you wonder why they stop. Is it the color? Is it the subject matter? Is it their thumbs got tired? Is it like, is it, like it really is, and it's kind of uh, it's a conundrum for an artist, because you don't do you paint for the audience or you paint for yourself? And I hopefully you paint for yourself first. And I can see
First,
that.
yeah, absolutely. And I know that we are living in a very bizarre, you know, era, but we as artists don't have any other ways, you know. We have to be an artist.
Mm.
You know, we have to find a way, and the art is by itself is very healing. So the first thing that I'm thinking is that I need to create something, and it's
Right.
not just, you know, painting. For me, it's pottery, it's cooking, it's, you know, styling. I art. I'm living the art. I'm not just, you know, creating an art.
Right.
So yeah, this is how I think.
So you're a psychotherapist as well? Is that
Yes,
what you do? So I can see how the art relates to this, right? It's there's two parts to your life, and they still belong. One helps the other all the way along the way. So it's
exactly, definitely.
most artists have, they've come from a profession of some kind. Some rarely are they an artist from day one and for their whole life. That's rare. We just can't afford it. People just you just don't buy enough work for you to afford to do that. But sometimes we need that so-called day job to give you time to think about what you're going to do in your other hours, and whether it's the weekend or evenings or whatever. And that doesn't make you less of an artist, that you aren't working 100% of the time as an artist. So many burn out because they try to do that, and I think you need to have those avenues to go to that relax in a little bit, change your venue, your mindset. Um,
Definitely.
this one is a lovely piece. People just look at this for a bit, and you can see so many things that are involved in this piece of work. And I think it's. I looked at it a number of times when we were putting this presentation together, and I think um, it's a prolific piece of work. There's a lot of
Right. Right.
well, you're involving a lot of pieces of your life in here. I can see that. Now that we've talked a little bit, or before the show and after, and a little bit, and the elements that the writing is back in there, the dance is part of this. There's those, I'll call them the windows of, and the different ones that are happening. The little, I guess, the little like little synopsises that are the little pocket of information here, and there's something here, but they're all related, even down to a little bit of writing that's in the work. How important is writing to the piece of work? Like some artists incorporate text in their works. Yours feel very like the love and the poetic things that are being done. Is Are those words from someone else, or are they your words?
Um, the words are important to me, and and also, you know, the visual aspect of, you know, writing
Hmm.
on a painting means a lot. And you can, because the art, the painting has no words, but when you add some words, you can find at least something for yourself. And I know it's in Persian, uh, but you can translate that and you can understand, and it's very related. And sometimes my husband um, said that poem at the same time that I was, painting, and it's very related, and you can find the elements.
Yeah. It sounds like you two are kind of in sync. When he's doing his art form as part of the same, almost the same time frame as you're doing the physical art form, and how maybe your work is probably influencing what he wants to read in poetry or sing or play in the music. It's just
Exactly. Our relationship is very harmonious, and we have a lot in common. So we share a lot, our talents, and um, we can reinforce each other's in different ways that we're going, because we have almost the same taste but in different, expression.
right. Yeah. So there, it's really nice to know where the influences come from, and if your influence can come from your spouse, or a close brother or a sister or a friend, and it's a different experience. It's sort of like life drawing. It's sort of like plein air painting. It's not like you went to a book and found the poetry. It's not like, or listened to an album or a CD. The music was played by another person, a real person that was influencing you, or I guess influenced by you, or you by them as well, right? So he may see your work and just the colors and the way things are going. He says, "I'm inspired to say this poem," and
Yeah, the inspiration is live.
it would be a great experience show to have a show like that where you two actually put a show on where he reads a piece and or plays a piece of music while you're showing some art, and whether
That's a
it's in a
cool idea.
small whether it's in a small intimate showing, not a great big one or something.
Yeah, I
There's
never,
yeah,
yeah, I
it
never
would be
thought
fun.
about that.
It would be very well. It would be very fun, and I think other people would really understand the experience because it's a total experience. It's not just a visual experience. It becomes audio and verbal. So you get more of the experience, because then people say, I now maybe understand the paintings more, or now I don't know what Persians, I know what it sounds like. It sounds beautiful and poetic, and those I don't know what they mean, but I get a better idea because I see the work that maybe help me understand what the words are, because it's all about, I guess, educating Canadians as well as to your work. More people need to see it, more need people to experience it. So unfortunately, it has to start kind of with you, and you got to show your work in some way. And sometimes it's just having small parties in your neighborhood a little bit, or within a little small art circle, and they bring a little piece of a few of their work, and you show some of your work, and you have an experience of culture. It's a
Yeah,
beautiful
that's
opportunity.
an interesting idea. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you.
Now here's a palette that's, we went from this kind of color palette.
Mm-hmm.
This is very sensuous painting. There's a very, very beautiful script writing, and we've used this image before on one of your online shows that we had here on Artists in Canada. And I've always loved this image, and I don't know what it is. It's just this bubbly, they're just these things that are just popping out of this beautiful little vase. The light's gorgeous, the reflection, and just there's I don't know what it is. There's just a feeling. Exotic is maybe the word I'm looking for. Can you speak to some of that a little bit? I mean,
Sometimes I become speechless, because I just remember, the the emotions and the excitement, and how can I tell you, the overflowing of something
yeah,
that I couldn't, experience it anymore inside, and I just, was trying to find something
yeah,
to pour it, to express it. And this is one of those times that I remember, but
Are they hard to get? Are they hard to let go? Are they hard to sell and let somebody else have these emotions that are you're so close to when you build these paintings?
what do you mean?
Well, when you sell a painting, it's like giving a child away. It's like you'll never see it again. It's sort of like I'll never be able to walk by and touch that painting because I sold it to somebody or gave it as a gift. Do you have those feelings of like,
Yes, exactly. I'm not, very comfortable with selling my works. Yeah,
well,
it,
you
it
can't save it all because you know it's like
this is
you all of a sudden need a warehouse.
yeah.
It's one of the
I'm
artists.
told a lot, about these part of, my character, that you cannot, keep them all together for forever, and it's better, to let them go, because you can, create more.
Well, our biggest problem is storage a lot of times, especially when you're painting, because canvases add up quickly. And unless they're stripped of the stretcher and just hung up like cloth on the wall, and then you can sell them like that. But it's difficult to sometimes let certain paintings go. And it's nice to treasure them and keep a few of your own that you're especially happy with and things. Here's got this. Now, this one has a similar look to there was a red motif one that was
Yeah.
previously shown. So it was kind of a,
And you can still, see the turquoise. It was the one of the colors that I used to use when I was in Iran, and then I continue in some way, but I changed the colors. You can, in my, earlier art pieces, you can see more of turquoise and ochre, and that kind of vibrant Persian colors, and then gradually it changed to the more red and shining blue, and even yellow.
yeah.
Yeah, because turquoise is a very, very um, key elements in Persian historical places. You can see it all over, even in jewelry and even in palaces, and everywhere.
Yeah.
And it has meaning. It has
Yeah.
meaning.
No, there's a nice energy, and I love the colors of this ochres and yellows and some of the turquoises that go with that. A lot of those colors are very southwestern colors in the States. They'll have that turquoises and those colors, probably influenced by the actually mining of turquoise. Like there's beautiful colors that are in New Mexico and such. But there's this is a
Very,
very well, it's a classic bouquet of flowers, right? It's just you know in
yeah,
in a sense, in an abstract way, a little bit, right? It just
I
you
completely agree.
a
Yeah,
lot of people like they'll set that up as a something on a dresser or in their living room. They'll have a bouquet of the seasonal flowers that just brighten some things up, or it's maybe something from a wedding or a party and things. So what would like this is different than some of your other pieces, and I was just curious as to where this imagery was coming. I mean, you still see the motifs of the squares in the background,
the windows.
but it's just the there's detail on the flowers, but there isn't. Right? They're saying, I mean, they could be oranges on sticks, some of them, but I think that's in a nice way. I'm just saying there's not. I think the one that is the yellow one is the one that's predominantly with the petals. You really start seeing the little textures that are sticking out on them. The other ones they're centering around it, and they're making this little yellow flower really important. Like it's just things I guess I see in my mind, and I go, this one's different than the other ones. It's a multiplicity of these circles as well, and
Mhm.
in an abstract way, like in just in like because it's a beautiful piece, and I love the colors. But
Thank you. Sometimes I guess there is a tempting to go to, though back, I mean, to the to the time that I was like very dedicated to, you know, to paint something as it was. I have, you know, still that, you know, feeling. And I guess this is one of those times that I really, you know, was
Yeah.
into that mode to, yeah.
But I think it's important though that maybe that yellow flower, for instance, is not just solid yellow, because then it's different. Like
Hmm.
this little yellow flower is delicate, and it for me it just seems like it was important that that be like that rather than just a yellow orb, which the other ones are more solid colors, and the white ones just stand out too. But I'm just saying it's just a psychological thing, maybe more. It's just something intuitive when you did it. You said it needs to be like this, and away it goes. And I like that. But I'm just sitting. I'm looking at. I've looked at it for a while because I've been going and putting this presentation together, and I said I was just trying to figure what am I going to say about this one, and I said why is this one different? And
What is your feeling about this painting? Do you
it feels very celestial, planet like. It feels very like these moons and planets moving around, more so than the other ones were more. They were a little bit more static in look. This one, in a Fantasia way, is taking on a little surrealism to me, and out of world,
Mm,
because the squares are back behind, and it's saying these little round shapes of color, and they're all different sizes and shapes, which gave me that world thing that everything is kind of hooked together, all contained within this glass vase. They've kind of exploded out. So it's kind of I see a lot of different things than most people see in things, and it's just me. Like it's just, but for some reason, and I don't know whether it's maybe because I've been reading some things on planets and stuff lately, that I see
mhm.
influences that way, and I think that's what helps other people within work as well. Is what are they reading and seeing and doing? Then when they see and respond to a piece of work that they see, but
Yeah,
that's yeah. And it's probably nothing to do with what you did, but that's fine.
yeah, no, it's very interesting to hear. And I just remember that I was trying to remove one of, you know, those, you know, red flowers, and I couldn't. And I was thinking maybe they are not very aligned together, but then I just decided to, you know, keep them. And still today it feels bizarre to me, but I cannot help it, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I'm just, I think I describe bizarre in my own way, but not in a bad way. I think
Yeah,
it's,
I get it, no worries.
we go back to some of your
Back
classical,
then.
back quickly go through some of these, but beautiful drawings. I mean, I think as an art student, understanding how to draw from plaster casts and different things, I think it's kind of it's a good study, and it's a good. I think drawing is probably one of the best bases for everything. And once you can draw and do a few things, go and do what you like. I mean, then you can break rules and learn about color and do all those things. But if you can't command a grayscale and a pencil, some people can't draw, but they are good painters. I understand that. Uh,
Yeah,
but I think it's understanding if you've got a bit of a drawing background, it really gives depth to your work. You don't have to draw if you don't want to, but you know what? At least you understand it, and I think it's been there. And it's some people it's a struggle. And some
I was very into drawings back then, as I remember. And then when I was introduced to the colors, I couldn't, you know, get back.
I don't blame you.
But I know the joy, you know, I know how it brings the joy.
I think you need to, when you do pencil drawings, you have to be at a different mindset. The reason for doing the pencil drawing, a lot of people use it as a study for a preliminary prior to working on a large canvas or something. They try to get the study down in a thumbnail to understand the proportions and do I want to move it here or there, erase this, move that around. It's easy. It's an easy medium to work with. But some people like that as the finished piece. They want something more neutral, and it's nice to be able to offer that opportunity. I can see how this was kind of incorporated into your portraiture that you were doing. It was important to understand the detail, and you know,
Yeah,
this
this
is
is very old. This is very old, and this is like um, belongs to those time that I was trying to change something, but I didn't know how to. And I was, I was using colors so more often than before.
yeah, yeah. No, it's a nice abstract, and I love the color. Very monochromatic color palette, and it, it gives good options for people. Not as bright and colorful as yet. It's all about texture, though. You know, this one has got a nice abstract in its sense. Another one of your
And yeah, and these
graphite.
are not here in Canada. These are at my parents' home in Iran.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I got stuff. I think most artists have. If you're more of a senior artist, you've got paintings and drawings in your kids' houses, and you can't store everything. And then there's pieces that your mom and dad love to have, and they won't let you take them away from them. So it's nice to have keepsakes that they can have. There's a this I love this piece. It feels like I'm walking down this pathway that's shimmering on both sides, and I'm going towards this light. And it feels like a surreal movie in some way because it's sort of science fictiony a little bit, but I just love the verticals and there's energies on the left and the right. Um, it evokes a lot of other things in me too because lately we've had a lot of smoke and fire in our northern countries of
Oh yeah.
Canada. A lot of forest fires that are happening as well. So different
Heartbreak.
things people pick up different things on, but this could also be the fall of the maple leaves and different things and the forest and things. And I just love. Um, but
Yeah.
anyway, it was feeling for me was just walking towards this light. I just love that. Okay. That's my interpretation of it. How close was I?
Very close. Very close. I love this one. This is my last work, so it's still with me. And I this is like imagining when this is the name of the piece also. When the spring meets the fall,
Mhm.
or vice versa,
Yeah.
and because I love, the spring and the autumn, and I just cannot imagine how it can be magical when they are, together.
Yeah.
So that was one of the motivation to create this, this art, and also the light that you can see at the end of the tunnel. It's like there is a hope because we're living in a different world right now because of all the thing is happening, from climate change to politics and everything. It's not very, it's different. I don't want,
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to nail down exactly what it is, but we are definitely in different times than we were 20 years ago.
exactly, even 10 years ago.
Yeah. So we're having to live it, and it's great that we can see some of it through artists' eyes. I think artists bring these things out for people to say, we are changing. There are things to be noticed. There are things that we need to pay attention to, our environment, and whether it be our politics as well as what is right or what is wrong, but especially our environment. Taking care of that, and putting. It's nice that an artist has an ability to be strong in their work, like rather than just be weak, just take,
Mhm.
lean on the brush a little bit, make that stroke dark and sharp. Everything doesn't have to be soft edges. You can just push through, and you have to live with it. I mean, as an artist, this is my feeling. If you don't like it, you have to move on. But this is how I feel today, and eventually people will come around or they won't come around. I mean, it's just the way things are. And I think it's important that artists find those two voices in themselves, because there's always at least two. One is the calm and one is the aggressive. And sometimes there's more of one than the other. If you're about selling all your work all the time, you really are going between those two paths. You really haven't gone one way or the other. You're on the fence a lot of times, and you can make a living and you can sell your work. And I realize people looking for calm and lovely pieces in their lives, when they put them in their living room wall or in their business. And but pieces like this, you can read lots into it. It's a beautiful, sharp piece, and it's got a little sting to it, but it's still very conducive to a lovely space. You can say it would look lovely in a home. And I'm glad you're living with it for a little bit longer than letting it go. So
yeah, sure. And one of my concerns these days is climate change. And because I'm very in love with nature, it seems like I'm worried about, losing this beauty. So I really want to, to use every opportunity that I have to, tell people that we have to be more aware of, our environments. And I have the tendency to, to have eco anxiety, I can tell you. So, because I love nature, and I'm also very concerned about, losing. And I think we should be more aware of, this fact.
right.
So, yeah, just
Well,
taking an advantage. Because I know I hope artists are more, aware of their, environment. So
I think a lot of them are, especially, I think a lot of them are aware of a lot of that. And it's just maybe just trying to figure out, is it dominant in their work or is it not? And sometimes it's more subordinate and it just sits back from what they're doing. But we leave that with the individual artists to do that. Well, David, where are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah.
There we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had a lovely conversation, even though it's a little short. We could keep on talking for hours, probably. But,
Yeah.
sure.
Well, I'm going to be very rude and just chastise our guest this week, because
we hit this.
you've got to sell your stuff, because it's the color palette is absolutely amazing, and you're denying the world of your talents. So please go out and sell.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Right.
It means a lot. Thank you.
And
David
so we always asked as well, if you were going to sell a piece, what sort of did you have a guesstimate of what you would be asking for?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. What is your price range from little to big? What they might be?
It's not a hold fast. We're not going to keep you like that. That's what you said. That's what it is. But
it is around 2,000 to 5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends, on the size. Yeah.
Those are Canadian dollars, as far as I know.
Yeah, Canadian dollars.
Good deal.
My art piece. So yeah, it's a very hard job, to sell them. I cannot, put any price,
You have to let them go, because you're being selfish now. There's just some wonderful pieces in there. Certainly the dancers. You can imagine that on a wall somewhere, really dominating the room and splashing the room with color, almost as if when you come in, you'd see her dances, you'd splash that color around the room. Yeah, loved it.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
They definitely be beautiful. Yeah, they would definitely be beautiful.
Thank you
Well,
so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank
Super.
you, Paul, again for bringing on a wonderful guest.
Yeah.
Please stay with
Yeah.
us until after the credits have gone, because we always have like to do a bit of housekeeping. We'd like to thank everybody for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like. And yeah, we'll be back soon with some more truly amazing artists from
Yeah.
Canada. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thank you for your great job and your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great
Bye-bye.
day and night. Bye.